We operated in North Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
We went across the border, you know, and we had people that would go over, you know, they would bring in B-52s. They'd radio, you know.
Yeah, but didn't they know who?
Huh?
Yeah. All right. Didn't they know who that is?
Did I what?
You said they call in B-52s.
Oh yeah, but they wouldn't send any officers. It's too dangerous. They went in with some Vietnamese special forces and our sergeants. You know, I knew a few of them that didn't come back, and I had to get their belongings because they were at our base camp. You know, and they went out of our base camp, and they didn't come back. So I had to gather up their personal belongings and send them back to whoever we send them back to. But it was a bad operation. And they wouldn't send any officers. It was too dangerous. I mean, shit. You know, officers number one, you know, if they captured us, you know, we had too much intelligence that they could, it was just too dangerous. And that's what they do. We'd send them in teams, you know. We'd drop them in with a helicopter. They'd get in there, and they sit on a trail or so, and then, you know, they have radio communications.
Right.
And then the B-52s would come over, and they'd have a spotter plane that they could contact. And if they saw, you know, something coming down the trail, they would report it. And then, whoo, they would obliterate the whole goddamn, you know, 2-mile area. It was a beautiful operation if you had the guts to do it, you know. And fortunately, I only did it for 6 months, you know. And then they pulled me out, and then I went to district, and then I went to Vinh Long, and I was a district advisor, and I worked with the Vietnamese.
And what was that Swedish gun called? A what?
A Swedish K.
A Swedish
They call
K.
it a Swedish K. Oh, just a beautiful weapon. And I had a friend, an officer. His father was a general, and he worked with the Chinese nuns. We employed the Chinese, you know, to help us, you know, fight and he was there.
What, to fight the North Vietnamese?
Of course.
Yeah.
And then he was in his camp, and I guess he was sleeping or whatever. But he had a Swedish K hanging, and I guess something, you know, the goddamn thing went off, and it shot him. He shot himself with a Swedish K.
How the hell did he shoot
himself? No, it went off.
It went off.
He tried to grab it, or I don't know. I don't know. And you know, and they had a helicopter. They evacuated him, and I said, well, you know, he'll be all right. You know, he just got a bullet. You know.
Yeah.
No, he died.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! Holy
he
shit.
died. And his father was a general. And I don't know if there was any kind of investigation or anything, but it shouldn't have been, because he just died. I mean, he screwed up. I say screwed up.
Well, we had a machine gun hanging in the air.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to have that ready, you know, in case you got to go out.
Yeah, sure, but not hanging.
But he
in
was
the air,
in charge of the Chinese nuns. He had a company. And I guess he had an executive officer. But, yeah, that's a nice fire scene. Yeah. And then the next thing I heard, I said, well, you know, he tried to get it or something that went off. Oh, yeah, it was trigger. It was very sensitive. I mean, because, you know, as soon as you got that thing, if you hit the trigger, you know, it would shoot.
Okay.
And
so that's what happened then.
That's
he got
what
his
happened.
fingers on it.
He tried to pull it off where he had it next to his bed
shit.
or something, and I guess it went off and it hit him, and I guess it hit him in a bad spot. And that's a big thing. You could take a bullet. You could take a couple of bullets. You could take a lot of bullets, you know, and you come out. I had one guy that took a .50 caliber machine gun bullet, you know, in his body.
Shit.
And he still lived, you know.
That hole must have been huge.
It all depends where it hits and what it destroys, you know.
Right.
You know, you can take a .22 and hit you, and if it hits you in the right spot, you're dead. But you can take and that's the same thing like with a .45 pistol. But that'll stop you, because it's a big bullet. and you just got to hit them close to the body parts, you know, close to the heart, close to the whatever. It'll drop you. I mean, it's not like a there's a 7 caliber pistol that I used to have, and I knew that that wouldn't stop anybody. But if I hit them like 5 times, you know,
yeah,
it would hit the right spot. Was young and, you know, shit, I was young and dumb, really. But that stuff is dangerous.
Well, that's a hell of a way to go, to be in Vietnam and then you shoot and kill yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
You know, he was an up-and-coming officer. You know, he had a career.
That's screwed up.
And all of a sudden, he was assigned to the Chinese nuns, and he had a company. They were out, and they were close by to my camp. We're right on the North Vietnamese border, because that's where we send our people out of Quezon, and we always were afraid of being overrun, because we were so close that they'd set up mortars, you know, and try to cut us out. But they never did while I was there, but they were close. But what they did is they captured a couple of our people, too. And you know what they did? They put them out on the runway. We had a runway, you know, we had planes coming in, you know, for supplies. And they spread them out, and they
spread them out, spread eagle on the runway.
Oh, yeah, right on the runway. And you know, they were daring us to try to rescue them. And, you know, the Americans said, we're not going to leave somebody out like that. We're going to go in there and try to get them out. But I never heard the outcome. But they spread eagle them. They had them on the runway. It was bait, you know, just like your raccoon.
Yeah.
And they were waiting for somebody, you know, yeah, okay, here's your guy, he's dying, you know, we're going to kill the son of a bitch, you know, and he's out there spread eagle, and, you know, if you don't help him, and then they wanted somebody to come in, and then they would mortar us, you know, but I don't remember what happened on that. I wasn't privy to all that stuff, but I knew they were out there. And I said, what a goddamn terrible fate, you know. And I said, you gotta go and rescue him, you know.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it in my mind. That's why I got so much respect for the Marines. They won't let it, you know. Somebody gets hit out there, you know, he's out there by himself, or he gets hit, you know, and he's outside. You've got to go out and you've got to get him back. I don't give a shit if he's dead or alive, but you got to get him back. You know what I mean? Because if you don't believe that, then you shouldn't be out there. You shouldn't be out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. I wouldn't want anybody to really be in the military. In my position, you know, we got Air Force people that fly, you know, 30,000 feet. You know, they drop bombs. You know, but they don't know what the hell. You come face to face with the enemy. It's not dropping bombs. It's not a faceless enemy. It's real. And that's the thing. Yeah. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, and I wouldn't want anybody to do that. And because I was trained, and because I went through the whole program, you know, that was my mission. That was my job. I didn't think twice about the danger. I didn't think twice about, because that, you know, yeah, it happens. You know, in my mind, it happens. And especially with me, I was in the infantry. They put me in special forces. I never volunteered for special forces. Because I was Ranger Airborne. You know, so I had all the qualifications. So they assigned me to Special Forces. And here I find myself with a small unit going into, you know, behind the lines, But you know, I don't think twice about it. I'm so grateful that I just came out alive. That's all, you know. You can build it up. I had so many sergeants, you know, that trying to build it up more than it was. Yeah, it was dangerous. Yeah, you can get killed. Yeah. Some of them couldn't take it. Some of them, you know, it was just too much for them. The stress, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they said, I got to get out, you know. I said, fine, okay. You know, and then I released him, you know. I said, yeah, you know, he spent 3 or 4 months, you know. He doesn't want to be here. He can't be here. He's too, well, he hurts the team because he's emotionally incapable of doing his job because of the stress and because of the fear that he's under constant threat. You know? Some sergeants can do that, and some sergeants can't. Most of them can't.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people got big mouths, and the reality is always different.
Yeah.
You know, I've dealt with shit in my life, and it's shit that nobody would want to deal with. And yeah, you know, people that I know, they're like, oh, you know, I could do this, I could do that.
Yeah.
And the reality is, they wouldn't be able to do a goddamn thing.
No, and that's the way it is.
You know, like Hansel. Hansel's a good example.
Especially under stressful conditions.
Yeah.
And with me, I was trained. You know, stressful conditions. What's our mission? You know, what do we got to do? Forget about this. But a lot of people can't handle that. Most people. Well, I don't know. If you're in a leadership position like I was, you had to handle it. You had no way out. But with the subordinates, sergeants, you know, they don't want that shit. You got a nice fire there, Stu.
Yeah, it's burning good.
Finally, huh?
Yeah, it took long enough.
You got enough wood to keep it going?
Yeah, I just keep splitting this big log and taking pieces of that. That's why it's burning good now.
And it burns well with hardwood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a nice fire. Yeah. Well, you don't want to go through that. You don't want to subject anybody that you love to go through that, or even if you don't love.
Yeah.
It's not a good deal. Yeah. That's a beautiful fire. Finally got it going. Well, that's what it takes.
And what about they were Chinese, what were they called, nuns?
Yeah, Chinese nuns. They were mercenaries. We paid and hired a whole bunch of Chinese. Yeah, they don't give a shit, you know. If they can get money because of, you know, their culture or whatever, they don't have a pot to piss in anyway, you know. So we recruited all these Chinese nuns to work for the Vietnamese against the North Vietnamese. And we put our officers in charge, you know, to see, you know, make sure that they did their job, you know, or whatever the mission was. And that's what, yeah, Chinese nuns did. And they were good, you know, they're Chinese, you know. You tell them go, and they'll go, you know. They get killed, you know, they get killed. They're effective, very effective. And we put them up north. I say we, I didn't put them up north. But there they were outside of our base camp, Quezon. I was there at Quezon. fortunately, I didn't. You know, we had all kind of shit going on.
Isn't Quezon, isn't that one of the ones that got overrun later?
Well, that's what we were afraid of. Yeah, it may have later after my thing, but the thing is, when I was there, you know, I fortunately, you know, I was an officer. They gave me like administrative duties. You know what I mean? Except I saw all this shit. You know, I saw the people we were sending out there. I saw the we put outposts out there, and the people put a claymore mine. It wasn't the Americans, but it was the Vietnamese. They set it up backwards. A claymore mine. You probably have no idea what a claymore mine is, but I'll tell you what it is. It's a piece of plastic like this with explosives. Explosives. You set it up. You turn it against the enemy, or what you consider the enemy coming in. And you set it up, and it's electrical, and you have a
toggle.
Yeah. They set it up. They set it up backwards.
So they blew
it
themselves
blew right
up.
in their faces.
Holy shit!
And it killed them both. And I had to go up, you know, pick them up. You know, they're Vietnamese, but you know they're human beings. You know, but they set it up backwards. A simple thing like that, not simple. I mean,
but
you
it
have
is
to
simple.
know what you're
It's
doing.
a small thing that makes a big difference.
Life or death. Shit. The same with the helicopter. Same with everything. A little thing. If you don't do it right, or you know you miscalculate, or if you don't understand what the hell you're doing, you're dead. You're dead meat. You don't have a second chance. And they were dead meat. They blew right up in their position.
Wow.
Killed them. Both of them. Killed both of them. And then you have like little things like we had the Seabees working on our airstrip, and I was involved in that because I had to ensure that you know they were doing what they're supposed to be doing. And sure enough, a young kid, you're younger, you know, 20, 19, 20.
Real young.
Yeah, on a bulldozer. And it's a Seabee, you know. And he's driving his goddamn bulldozer. Sure enough, he went too far on the edge. And the goddamn thing went down. And he tried to jump off the bulldozer. And he got caught. And I was the first one on the scene. And I didn't understand. He looked all right, you know. But he was caught between the bulldozer and the ground.
Oh shit!
And he looked all right, and I totally dead.
Now, how old were you?
Well, I don't know. I was a captain. I don't know.
Were you
but
in your 20s or
there,
30s or what?
I had my vehicle. I ran down, you know, and I saw he went over. I saw the bulldozer went over, and I saw him there. He was there between the bulldozer and the ground, and I tried to pull him out, not pull him out, but dig him out. And I couldn't. You can't, you know, there's too much pressure and all that. But I looked at him, and he's dead. I mean, there's no movement at all, nothing. And naturally I called for help. And they pulled out the bulldozer. They got in there, and they put him on a goddamn wherever, you know, in our headquarters. He died. He died. Just a young kid, but he got crushed. And I didn't realize that. I said, well, you know, it's an accident, you know. But he couldn't jump clear. He tried to jump clear, and he couldn't. He got caught. And you don't get caught between a bulldozer and all that earth. If that comes down on you, hey, you're dead in a second. They couldn't revive him. He was dead. Things like that stay in my mind because I said, oh, Jesus, you know. It was just an accident, you know. There's no combat involved. But those things happen. And it's just, I don't know, you just have to go through it, you know. And, you know, I was young. You said how old I was. I was like maybe 30 years old, 34, yeah, I don't know.
You weren't in your 20s?
Not my 20s, a little older, I think. 'Cause I think I was a captain. Yeah, I might have been in my late 20s, I don't know, but it didn't shake me up, you know. It did shake me up, but it didn't. You know, it stayed in my mind. I didn't like what I saw, and you know, it stayed in my mind, and I was, you know, I said, what a tragedy, you know. And it was just because he was trying to do his job. He was trying to do his job, and, you know, he's working on a bulldozer. I mean, it's a CB. You know, supposedly you know what you're doing. You know, you don't know what you're doing. It's just like my bus driving job. You have no idea what you're doing. You're just doing your job. And some people get caught and some people get away with it. You got caught. And you know, it'll roll off my back.
But I wasn't born yet when you were in Vietnam, right?
No, you were. You were born in '69, and I was in Vietnam between like '64 and '69. All right, the Tet Offensive, right where all
you were there between '64 and '69.
Yeah. Where all this shit happened.
Yeah, I was born in '69.
Yeah,
so.
you were born in '69, January.
So you would have been there at '68 at the latest. I was born in January, so. And then the fall of Saigon, that was what, '74, I think? I think that was '74, wasn't it?
Well, it may have been. I don't think it was that late. But, yeah. They were going to send me back to Vietnam instead.
Holy shit. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, they have. And then I don't know why, but they decided, I guess they felt that I had enough. Luckily, they sent me to Thailand. But they had me scheduled to go back to Vietnam. That way.
Wow.
And, you know,
but then when we were in Thailand, there was the situation with Pol Pot eventually. Because I remember all those Cambodians coming over from Cambodia because of Pol Pot.
Yeah. They had but it wasn't a real problem. The Thais just cut that off. So it wasn't a real problem, but it was a threat. Yeah.
But I do remember Cambodians coming over. There was a Cambodian kid, and he was scary because he looked like he had just walked through the killing fields or something.
Oh yeah, but
he was scary, man.
They never. I've been out in the border. Not part of my job, but I went from the Cambodian border to the Burma border. When I went to the Cambodian border, they were there, and they never crossed it. They had their outposts there, and I could see. I was that close where I could see where they had
So their border is heavily guarded with on Cambodia.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how were the Thais at stuff like that? Were they serious? You know, it wasn't like Canada with America, where somebody could be in the woods and just end up in Canada. It was more
it was a very definite border,
like North Korea and South Korea or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have their outposts, but the Thais are very, very good. Really, they're good fighters, and they knew they didn't want anything to do with Cambodia, and they made sure that no Cambodians came across. And I was just an advisor. I had no authority, no play in it. But I would go there, and I would see what they're doing. And they wouldn't tolerate. And the Thais were that strong, and the Cambodians was that weak that they're just kids. It seemed. When I looked over there, they seemed 13, 14-year-old kids. And so, we had no problem with stopping whoever came over there. And then I went up to Burma.
And they have a history of fighting with the Burmese. The Thais and the Burmese have a history of warfare. Yeah.
But there was no problem there either, because the Burmese were in not a posture where they could threaten the Thai. Thailand was the strongest nation right in that pocket between Burma, Cambodia, and even further south. They had total control. And I think it was that way.
Well, now they've got a military dictatorship or something, I think, yeah?
They always have. The military always ran everything. And if they didn't, they have a king.
I was going to say that.
But he's he's not a governing king. He's a symbolic king,
Okay.
And the Thai military run the whole show. And that's who I advise. Every now and then they have a coup,
Yeah. Well, they had a coup when I was in Germany.
Yeah, and they have.
Yeah, they did.
But they always have a coup. I say always, but they're in total control of the government of Thailand.
So a coup's not unheard of for Thailand.
Oh, no. Happens all the time.
Okay.
But the division that I was advising, they were the mainstay of the coup guys, because they had the power, they had the wherewithal, to overthrow anybody that was against what they thought should have been the ruler, So they had control.
Well,
the generals were in total control. Number one, they had control, they had power, they had money, because they sucked off all the money. The military, they sucked off all the money from the economy. But they're extremely intelligent. I don't know about intelligent, but they're industrious. They have the will. And they have the culture and everything, back them up. Like the Chinese. Whoever is in power, they'll be in power. And anybody that goes against them,
they'll crush them.
They're peanuts. They're gone. Yeah. Yeah, that's the Asian way. That's the Asian way. They're not like us. They're not like the Europeans. I don't give a shit about democracy. I don't give a shit about the people's will. They'll mow them down in a second. But you know, we're kind of reaching that stage, you know, Steve, here in the United States. All this diversity and all this liberal thinking.
Yeah, the country's falling from the inside. It's the country's being deliberately, it's being deliberately divided.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's to weaken the country.
Oh yeah, you know, and Mom is just totally, and I think she's right. Socialism is going to take over, you know.
That's what I wrote about in my books.
Yeah, and she's totally against that. And she says the only thing I will say with is Trump. That's her opinion.
I think Trump is the fall guy. I think he's the guy that's going to be blamed. I think that's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. The way he goes about things is just...